Hey everybody, Dog8798 here. This is my long, in-depth webcam review of the 1994 Street Fighter movie. Been trying to do this review for a long time. Was originally gonna do it on my retro channel, but I decided to do it here, especially with my whole internet problem. This is my review of the 1994 Street Fighter live-action movie starring Jean-Claude Van Damme as Guile and the late Raul Julia as the main antagonist of the film, M. Bison. Also appearing as Andrew Brian Nersky as Zangief, Kylie Minogue as Cammy, Byron Mann as Ryu, Damon Chapa, I think Damian Chapa, I think that's his name, as Ken Masters, um, um, Peter Sunato. I keep forgetting his last name, but he portrays E Honda. Grand L. Bush portrays Balrog. Jay Tavera portrays Vega, and Wes Studi plays Sagat, and also I think Miguel Munez, I think that's his name, portrays DJ, and I think Rojan Sath portrays Dalsim, and I keep forgetting who. I think Greg Rainwater portrays T Hawk, and Ming Na Wen portrays Chun Li, and and I keep forgetting the guy who plays Charlie. I keep forgetting the guy's name who plays Charlie, but that's all the cast, and I think the cast was one of the best things about this movie. I saw this movie in 1998 on the USA Channel, 4 years after it released in theaters, and I thought this movie was awesome. I was immediately blown away that there was even a Street Fighter movie. I knew there was a Street Fighter cartoon. I knew there was a Street Fighter 2 animated film, and I knew there was a Mortal Kombat. There were two Mortal Kombat live action films and a Double Dragon live action film, but I had no idea there was a Street Fighter movie. And despite the different plot and the characters looking, and despite the different plot, I was immediately able to recognize that this was a Street Fighter movie, and I was immediately able to recognize all the characters. When the movie starts off, well, of course, Chun-Li, of course, said her name, so you knew it was automatically Chun-Li, and because it was an Asian woman. But then Bison and Guile, I was immediately able to identify Jean-Claude Van Damme as Guile. He was wearing his blue palette swap costume. Bison was wearing his red costume, and it was the skinny in-game sprite version of Bison from Street Fighter 2. Um, um, when I was a child, I didn't have that much of a problem with them altering the story because I was confused on who the main characters were. Um, the main character of the game appears to be Ryu and Ken, because you see their in the selection screen, you see them first. But if you buy the Sega Genesis version of Street Fighter 2 Champions Edition, which is what I had, it shows Guile on the cover fighting with M. Bison. Then, of course, if you have the Street Fighter 2 Champions Edition Super Nintendo version, which I've played, it shows E Honda. E Honda giving Sagat 100 hand slap, and Chun-Li doing her kick. I think Ryu posing, and I think Blanca doing something. That was the Street Fighter 2 cover for Super Nintendo. So I was confused on who the main character was. Was it Ryu, Ken, Guile, or Chun-Li? After learning more about the story, now I know who the main characters, of course, are Ryu and Ken. The story mostly focuses on them, but the main heroes and other main characters of the show would have to be Guile and Chun-Li. Because it's also their plot to bring down Bison for various reasons. Chun-Li wanting to avenge her father, and Guile wanting to avenge his best friend Charlie. And elements of that were incorporated into this film. Instead of Enter the Dragon, Bloodsport, Fist of the North Star in a modern world, and Saint Seiya style plot, which is what you should be doing if you're making a Street Fighter film. This film took the characters and put them in an action adventure movie similar to movies like 48 Hours and Commando, who I think the screenwriters actually wrote this movie. Um, um, yeah, movies like Die Hard and Commando, Universal Soldier, and stuff like that. Then they made it similar to the GI Joe cartoon, and the X Men cartoon, which GI Joe and X Men, if not the Fist of the North Star Bloodsport style plot I just mentioned earlier, GI Joe and X Men would be the next best thing because they're technically mutants. They have powers and and they're way stronger than normal humans. But yeah, yeah. So they put that instead of the World Tournament plot, and I thought this movie for a adaptation back in the 90s, I thought this was pretty good. I think he can do way better. I think he can do way better now, but I'll get to that in the end. But right now, I thought this was awesome for what it was. Like I said, I thought the cast for this film was awesome. Jean-Claude Van Damme. I can't think of any other guy they could have got to play Guile. The only other two people, if you want to get a big time actor, a big time star actor at that time to play Guile, the only two people I can think of were Dolph Lundgren and Gary Daniels. Gary Daniels was busy with another adaptation, the live action Fist of the North Star movie, and Dolph Lundgren, well, I think he was also busy. I think didn't he film Showdown in Tokyo with Brandon Lee, and then also he lose the Guile in Universal Soldier. So I think Jean-Claude Van Damme, despite being an English guy, I thought he captured Guile's personality too. He was the cocky, macho, arrogant, but brave and heroic soldier. And I thought he did a great job as Guile, and minus the broom haircut, which I don't think you can get that in real life. I don't think you can get the broom haircut in real life unless you get a wig. He actually looks like Guile a little bit in the face. Guile looks, and he actually fights like him. So I thought Jean-Claude Van Damme, despite being Belgian, was a good choice for Guile. It was a good choice for Guile, and he had a lot of funny one-liners in the film. Raul Julia, while I would have got an unknown. I would have got an much younger and much healthier guy to play Bison. Raul Julia was awesome as Bison. Of course, because of his health problems, he couldn't be as strong as he was in the games, but he was still able to portray a much weaker, but still a weak but intimidating, ruthless and honorable bad guy in Bison. I thought Raul Julia was awesome as Bison. He gave some new depth to the character of Bison, especially since he was weaker and wasn't as powerful as he was in the game. And I thought he did a good job as Bison. I'm glad, of course, he didn't want the role of Bison, but as his last role, his kids, who were fans of the games, convinced him to take the role of Bison. And I'm glad he listened to his kids and went through the training to prepare for this role of Bison. And it's real sad that he died before this film could be released, because he did an awesome job, man. This film is actually cult status because of him. Then let's talk about the cast. Andrew Bryanarski, he's my next favorite actor in this film. I love him. He was awesome. He's also the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. He also had a role in a martial arts film called Black Mass 2: City of the Mask that I like. But he was awesome as Zangief. He looks like him. And he acts like him. And he was hilarious. And I love the new depth with his character. In this film, he serves Bison because he thinks Bison is the hero of peace. He thinks Bison is fighting for peace, but it turns out at the end it's revealed that Bison is the enemy of peace and justice, and that's why he was serving him. I love the new depth of Zangief, and Zangief was just hilarious in this film. Jay Tarver as Vega, the closest character to his counterpart. Pretty much Guile, Chun-Li, and Bison were pretty much the closest to their counterparts. The only difference between Guile is that in this film he's a colonel, and I think in the games wasn't he a lieutenant, but that's minor for me. General and Bison calls himself General and Bison, even though doesn't the M in Bison stand for Major Bison, so shouldn't he be Major? But that's minor. And yeah, Vega, Chun-Li, and Guile and Bison are the ones who, and Zangief, I'm gonna say Zangief too, are the only ones who remain unchanged. E Honda is pretty much like himself, except he's Hawaiian in this film. I thought Peter Sonoda was a good E Honda. Grandel Bush was an awesome Balrog, and despite the fact Balrog is supposed to be with Shadaloo, but I thought he did a good job in this film. Byron Man, in my opinion, did an awesome job as Ryu, despite being a con man. He was still an honorable fighter, still looking for the best fight, despite being a con man. Damien Chapa was pretty awesome. I thought he was awesome as Ken Masters, despite being a con man, and despite being what's his name? He was still somewhat of a, despite being cowardly a little bit and more interested in money, he was still interested in fighting. And I love the new character depth they introduced with him, where in this film Sagat is his rival. If he had met Sagat, he probably would have become Sagat. I actually like that right there, and I like Ryu's rivalry with Vega, even though that's different from the games. That's a new way. That's a new spin on it. That's a cool new spin on it. And Wes Studi, I thought he was awesome as Sagat. The only thing I hate about him is that at the end of the film, okay, I know they want to be realistic, but I was hoping he changes into his traditional Muay Thai trunks. I can understand him starting in a suit, but just like Zangief, I hope to want to see that suit somehow get torn off, or he takes it off and he has his Muay Thai trunks on. That's what I want to see. That's what I wanted to see. The worst, in my opinion, in this film is Greg Rainwater as T-Hawk. But Steven D'Souza, the director of this film, said T-Hawk was his least favorite of the characters in this film, so he just made him a watered-down version of Guile. I didn't really like that. And Cammy, her role wasn't. I thought Kylie Minogue was awesome as Cammy, an awesome casting choice for Cammy, but I thought her role was lessened from the game. I didn't mind that at the time because at the time I saw this movie, I had only played Street Fighter 2, the World Warrior, the first one, and Street Fighter 2 Champions Edition with the 4 boss characters playable. So I was unfamiliar with these new challengers. DJ Fei Long, who wasn't in the film, he was replaced by a watered down character in Sawada, and DJ. So I didn't the 4 new challengers. I didn't know who they were, so that didn't remind me of the time. I didn't play Street Fighter 2 Turbo until the mid 2000s. I think it was 2003. Yeah, 2003 when I played that game, and it was awesome. So then I got to learn the other characters. I saw the other characters, DJ and them, through the Street Fighter Alpha series, which I did play in the 90s. But that was Alpha, so I didn't expect to see these characters here. So I also thought Charlie as Blanka. I thought Charlie was Blanka's real name. I thought Carlos was a nickname. I thought his new name was Charlie Blanca. I didn't know Charlie and Blanca were 2 different characters till I played the Alpha series. So I didn't have a problem with most of the changes, and I love the costume design. All the costumes were good. I love the makeup effects on Blanca. It would have been cool if he could have done more. All he really did was throw people around and wrestle and throw people around. It would have been cool if he could do that, do more throwing people around through his roll moves, through his thunder shock moves. But fight choreography was awesome, even though I thought the fight editing sucked. They tried to edit 3 fight scenes at once. That was Guile's fight with Bison, the main fight, and Ryu and Ken's fight with Bison and with Sagat and Vega. Then Zangief's fight with E Honda, which I loved the fight. I loved how out of nowhere E Honda dived onto Zangief. And then they went through the floor. And they were just fighting. Yeah, they went through the floor. Then E Honda picked Zangief up and power slammed him through the floor. Body slammed him through the floor. It was awesome. Then later on in the film, they're still fighting. Then later on in the film, Captain Sawada says we captured the energy, and then we captured the enemy. Then it shows both of them wrestling. It shows both of them wrestling and still fighting while destroying Bison's model of his new Bisonopolis city that he was trying to build throughout the film. It was just awesome and hilarious. Then my other favorite part was at the end of the movie when they're still fighting. He gives him the 100 hand slap. And then they still fight. And then Chun-Li comes and says, Honda, we gotta leave, and he says, sorry man, can't play no more. Then Zangief takes 2 swings at him, misses, and says, coward. He says, coward. Then he says, then he sees DJ trying to escape. DJ says, why aren't you in uniform? Can't you see the enemies of peace and justice are at our walls? He says, are you totally demented, man? Our boss is the enemy of freedom and peace. Everyone is coming to stop him. If you're smart, you'll save your own butt. And then Zangief was like, you got paid? That was hilarious, man. That was hilarious. Andrew Bryanowski was awesome. Then, of course, you had Raul Julia being narcissistic as Bison during the scene when he kidnapped Chun-Li. He was like, Chun-Li, the day I graced your village and killed your father was the most important day of your life. For me, it was Tuesday. That right there was just hilarious. I love how vain and narcissistic he was in that scene. That was hilarious. Then I also liked Bison. Remember I said I love the new death with him. They made him more of an honorable character. I like when he heard that Guile had supposedly been shot, he said, that's unfortunate news. I hope to meet Guile in unarmed combat, in respectful unarmed combat. And then I would snap his spine. Oh, but the road not taken. And then he gives a long, awesome speech about why do people see him as a bad guy. See him as a bad guy. And Zangief comically refers to, that was beautiful. It was just hilarious. Then, of course, the infamous scene where Chun-Li tries to blow everyone up. And they see the truck with the explosive crashing towards them on the TV, and then Zangief out of nowhere just says, quick, change the channel. Just hilarious, man. Just hilarious. And so many awesome lines. Bison coming onto the monitor, and when Guile says Bison, he's probably hiding. He says hiding. And then Bison Awesome comes on the screen, hiding. What do I have to fear from you, worker ants, scurrying out with your pitiful guns, afraid of the purity of unarmed combat? And he comes out of nowhere, swings on the rope. Then he says his signature catchphrase, anyone who opposes me will be destroyed. And then Guile says his catchphrase from the games, anyone who fights me will be destroyed. Man, just an awesome film. The plot of this film, which I haven't got to yet, was Bison has kidnapped several relief workers and several soldiers, including Guile's best friend Charlie, and demanded a $1 million ransom be submitted to his bank. If that's not happening, he will kill the hostages. And he also reveals later in the film that he had Charlie go under that he mutated Charlie in order to create a mutant army to take over the world, and Guile has to lead a group of street fighters to stop him. That's pretty much the plot of them. And Guile, by doing this, he integrates these 2 spies. He integrates Ryu and Ken, who he arrested for participating in a street fight earlier with him, to know how to learn about Shadaloo. Then of course Chun-Li has her own vendetta with Bison. In this film, she's a news reporter instead of a police officer. She's not trying to get a story on Bison. She's trying to get revenge on Bison for killing her father. E Honda and Balrog, who are aligned with Chun-Li in this film and gifted with technology, also want revenge on Bison for ruining their respective sumo and boxing careers. And Sagat is a weapons dealer, is an arms dealer. Sagat's an arms dealer. They still kept elements of his character from the game. He's not the god of Muay Thai. He's Iron Fist in this film, but he's retired and is an arms dealer now. Vega's pretty much the same, just a normal cage fighter and a serial killer. Like I said, that's the plot of this awesome movie. I also love the soundtrack. I love the Straight to My Feet song from MC Hammer that plays in the credits. I also love the Ice Cube Street Fighter song that plays in the beginning when we're introduced to Ryu and Ken in the Street Fighter arena. Let's get ready to rumble. I love that song. And then of course you have Something There. I keep forgetting who sings that, and that awesome song Worth Fighting For that plays when Guile is Guile is watching a tape of him and his best friend Charlie having fun. That moment was emotional. Then of course you have the a song that sounds like the Duel of Fate song from Star Wars. Whenever there's an action scene going on, I love it. The songs make the scenes feel powerful. Then like I said, just an awesome film. This film received lots of negative reception when it was released. It got a 16% on the Rotten Tomato. It has a 16% on the Rotten Tomato, Rotten Tomatoes website. But this was still despite that, this movie still grossed 3 times its budget. I think it took $99 million at the box office, and is a cult film now. It's one of those films, either you like it or you don't. I for one love this film. I think you can do way better with this movie in nowadays, especially after seeing, I hate to keep going back to it, but after seeing Dragon Ball Evolution, Green Lantern, and the King of Fighters movie, I think you can do a much better Street Fighter movie today. But however, at the same time, as much as I love the Street Fighter movies, I think the problem with a Street Fighter movie is that the Street Fighter series has too many characters, and they all have backstories, and they all have special moves, and if you cram them all into one film, you got to find a script that accommodates them all and that leads to changes in who they are. That's what happened with this film, and the remake of this film, which I like, but I kind of thought that was terrible, especially in comparison to this and Dragon Ball and more stuff. The Street Fighter Legend of Chun-Li film, where you just try to focus on a few characters, you still don't get nothing. So in my opinion, if you're going to make a Street Fighter series, it should be a live action series like Mortal Kombat Conquest from back in the day, a cartoon series like the Street Fighter cartoon, or a comic book series like the Street Fighter comic book series. I think the Street Fighter comic book series and the US cartoon, are the best adaptations of Street Fighter. But like I said, I thought this was good for the time it was released. It would be cool to see if someone could remake Street Fighter 2 like the games and follow like the games, like Street Fighter 2, then tell what happened in Alpha, then 3 and 4. That would be awesome. But like I said, comic books and cartoons and live action series is much better. Well, like I said, this was my review of the 1994 Street Fighter film. All right, dog out.